Hello everybody and welcome to Knoxville Speedway. I am Aaron Douglas announcing here at TNT Sports with my colleague Connor Meyer.
How's it going?
And we are finally making our return to dirt racing. We have our first heat of the season at Knoxville Speedway. And to start off with that, we'll read them through the list. On the front row for Heat 1, we have Tim Salmon starting alongside Andrew Weisbecker.
And then starting right behind them is going to be the number 36 of Joey Sanders and the 92 of Caitlin.
And in row 3, we have Arthur Xavier starting alongside the number 8 car of Big Man.
And then behind them is the number 12 of Aaron Gabron and the number 83 of Evan Coward.
And rounding out the field for heat number 1, that is the number 77 of Jonathan Rains. He'll be starting alongside Joseph Onesto. And as we get ready to begin this race, we'll go ahead and show what we have going on for the dirt race at this track tonight. 40 cars, of course, is what we now allow here for dirt racing. However, we can't just cram all 40 cars onto the field, so we have a heat race method in place. We will have 4 heat races, all chase drivers, of course, locked into the A main in seats 17th through 27th. The remaining cars for each heat will be advanced based off their top winning positions from seats 8th through 16th from out the top 4 heats. Drivers of the back half of the field, basically the 5 cars that do not advance from each heat, will be separated into a 20-car race for the B main. Top 7 cars will get positions 1st through 7th for the A main. The remaining 13 cars will then drop to a last chance qualifying race where they will have 8 laps to score the bottom 2 seeds for the A main. Last chance qualifiers 3rd through 13th will score 31st through 40th in points for this race. The A main will then be a 53 lap feature with B main cars leading, their heat rating cars in the first back half, and the second front half is going to be the chase drivers and the last chance qualifying race. A lot more cars than what we had at Eldora, huh?
Yeah, we've pretty much we've almost doubled the field, I think, since Eldora.
With the addition of 13 cars, it does make quite a difference, especially when we're trying to formulate a proper amount of cars being out here on the racetrack.
Now, the weird thing about this heat race is only chase drivers are going to be advancing.
So kind of a little bit of an interesting thing, the way that the cars qualified from the race is these drivers happen to be up here in the race. So this is going to be a nice way for the other 5 cars to, of course, they're going to drop straight to the B main, but they're also going to have a higher spot. So this is going to be more track time. A good thing for this, though, is if they're able to keep this track time up and do well on the B main, that means they're going to have a good starting position for the feature. So this is also a very good chance for these drivers to see what the final race is going to be and what they need to do, watch the track fall off, how to adjust their cars. So it kind of seems like they're out of luck, but it's actually a really good opportunity for them to possibly even win this whole feature. And for somebody to score 3 wins tonight.
And the 5 cars that will be moving on will be Joey Sanders, Caitlin Marie, Big Man, Aaron Gabron, and Joseph Onesto, because they all have wins.
So they will be also then the 17th through 22nd seeds in the race, automatically placed in there for the feature race tonight. Another driver who, while this pole does not necessarily count, that will be the B main winner that counts for the pole, That is Tim Salmon that is starting again on the front. So congratulations to him. That's 2 races in a row. He technically had the fastest lap. We've been given the commands to get the cars rolling. Pace car will duck down onto pit road here shortly. Then we'll have our first race. 15 laps for the heat race. Green flag drops as a bunch up. Joey Sanders drops immediately to the inside. Arthur Xavier looking toward the inside underneath Tim Salmon. That's another Dodge. This is all going to be basically for these drivers what position they will start in for the B main. Sanders with an early lead is holding on quite strong, but here comes Aaron Gabron.
And Onesto too, he's making his way up from the rear.
Listen, there may be an issue with Salmon. That car dropped straight to the inside there. Hope everything is all right with that race car. He is pulling off the racing surface. He was the fastest car up until now. That leaves us with 9 cars on the track.
But I mean, if you're gonna have issues, have them in this, have them in the heat instead of the B main.
Exactly. Wouldn't want that car to be killing on you on the last race. Ford's not looking too bad today. This may be a good track for them, actually.
Yeah, it's been a while since Ford has last won a race.
Jonathan Rains going down to the inside of one of our chase drivers. That makes the move into second, less than half a second away from the leader, but Gabron is going to try and get that second spot back.
Yeah, he's trying to get that second spot just in case the 36 messes up a little bit, and he'll get that higher qualifying spot.
He sure is racing hard. That is Mr. Sanders. Currently our championship leader, points-wise overall. He is now currently ahead of Spencer Davis. Supreme Motorsports with a really good rebound after Talladega. They are trying to keep that rolling into this race. And what a good way to start that out.
Yeah, because before Talladega they had a rough stretch of a couple of weeks, and then they had 4 cars finish in the top 10. It's hard enough to get 1 in the top 10, and they got 4.
Not bad. It's always good when you have 40% of your own cars running up the operation, especially when they're all Toyotas like that. Xavier, though, talk about the speed he's got out of nowhere, saved it for the end. He is giving the 36 a run for his money. He has already caught the back bumper of that 36 car in his camping rule Dodge. And he's giving him the bumper. Sanders says, all right, you want to play this game? He's going to give him a test for the speed, but to the inside he goes with just a couple laps left. This will be our 3rd lead change of the heat race. New leader, Arthur Xavier. Now, talk about a driver we never really talked about, despite him, of course, this only being his 3rd race with us. He has stayed under the radar.
Yeah, he's had a pretty quiet first couple of races, but now he's showing out here that he can race on dirt.
Sure is. He's about to take the checker for the winning his first heat race. It's an unofficial race, but hey, man, win's a win. But look out for Sanders going to his inside. It is not enough. That will be the end of Heat 1, and a little bit of a tab after the race. That's just good sportsmanship there. It's very nice. Arthur Xavier winning your first heat race. 91 was able to come back out and finish the race, by the way. Sanders second, Big Man third, Gabron fourth. Reigns spread out the top 5. All chase drivers, of course, will advance. The rest of those guys will be heading into the B main. When we come back, we'll be giving you guys heat race number 2, so stay tuned. And we're back here for heat race number 2. And we are going to have 10 more cars. Get ready to do a little bit more racing for you guys. We'll start off by going through our field. We have Osborne on the front row, starting next to Aaron Douglas in the 21 Royal Purple Dodge.
And starting third, we have Todd Castile in the number 99, and Anissa Johnson starting right next to him in the 27.
Thor Gunderson, previous race pole winner, starting alongside DeLusso and the Bass Pro Shop Chevy.
Big Rick Johnson starts behind them in the number 2 Red Bull Dodge. And then Austin Yoakum in the Jags number 10 Toyota.
And rounding out the field, we have Brad Smith in the Nikon 22, starting alongside Benjamin Thomas and the Pennzoil number 9 Dodge. So coming off that first heat race, once again, we'd like to congratulate Arthur Xavier in the Campanile Dodge in scoring your first win. And he's been placed for the first seed for the B main. That was pretty cool to see a driver of that low of a new team win the heat race.
Yeah, he came from mid-pack to do it. He started 5th and passed up Joey Sanders within the last lap and a half to win it.
He certainly proved himself there, so always great to see. So now with these guys, we got a lot of big guns in this race. There's only one car in this heat race, which was an automatic advance, and that's Austin Yoakum, our previous race winner. But a lot of drivers who have been in contention in previous seasons or who have had extraordinary amounts of different statistics who are early in this race. So here's another good chance for these guys to prove themselves.
That's right. We have a couple of teammates in this race also. Team Motorsports has the 79 and the 60, and Western Auto has the 21 and the 27.
And then we have a few satellite Dodges. We have One Man Co., Marathon Motorsports, and Lubricar Motorsports. That's also going to be great for them. The energy drink 1 and 2, Monster and Red Bull. Nice little fact there. Just now realized that as well.
And then only one Ford in this lineup.
Yes, best in the world, Brad Smith, had a very good run last week at Talladega. So as we see there, he runs from dead last to a top 5 in one corner. Wow. Very impressive move there.
As they're running, as long as the 10 car is outside of the top 5, top 4 will still advance.
That 22 of Brad Smith pushing the 1 through the corner. He is going to the lead in a hurry. 9 car gets loose. Hang on, don't wreck in the heat race. That's Benjamin Thomas holding on to it. They're 4 wide right now, going through 3 and 4.
And the only Ford in the race is currently leading.
Yes, that is. Brad Smith doing an amazing job, but wow, look at these guys fighting for the transition spots. Still duking it out. That's Aaron Douglas trying to get underneath DeLusso. And they have not settled down.
Well, see, unlike last race where everybody pretty much knew they weren't going to get in, but in here, everybody's trying to get the top 4 spots.
That mix right there between that transfer. And we have a car going around. Anissa Johnson spins out Todd Castile and his Lord Co 99. Caution will come out. That will bring out our first caution. Just a simple spin there, and in the mix of that, Benjamin Thomas moved around the 22 car.
He's trying to turn around his season. I think Ben's currently like 26th in points or something. So he's trying to get either a win or in the top 16. This is definitely a momentum changer.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Jay now with a change of the point system to accommodate the larger amount of field of cars. Now that Jay is in the chase, that this really helps out with the motivation, getting this team rolling, and maybe the sudden realization that he also himself has a chance of being a possible contender for the chase as well. So they're trying to bring more Dodges up there, which is always good. A little bit of hope can go a long way. Though on this start, I expect Brad to just jump out ahead again. He flew from last to first in a couple of laps.
Yeah, definitely showing that he probably has the fastest car in this group.
That score, actually, that wasn't even the fastest lap. Ben put down the fast lap of a 16.309. He is 16.390, but he's probably got more consistency each lap. Actually, a couple Dodges are leading the fastest lap right now. That's quite interesting, despite them being in the back at the beginning of this heat race. Yoakum just cruising around on this one.
His starting position is set for the A main. He's going to be starting, I think, 18th.
Yes, that is correct. 20.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
23rd.
Oh, 23rd.
I'm not sure what's going on with the 9 car, but it looks like he is going to be pulling down. I don't know if that means he's pitting or not.
Well, we were just talking about how the momentum change,
Yep,
and
there
that's
he goes.
bad for that momentum.
Not sure why he would. There's no possible pit strategy. These tires are good for the entire length of the event. Goodyear brought us a very hard compound dirt tire, so there's no advantage to changing tires. Pace car is heading down to pits. This means Brad Smith will regain the lead. As soon as we hit the green flag, we will have 4 laps until the end.
But this now moves up Big Rick to that final transfer spot.
There goes DeLusso and Douglas. Straight to the lead goes the 60 car, 21 and 27. These Dodges, big pack of them trying to move somewhere right now. Mr. Johnson flying into the corner with a 79 following. Brad Smith trying to regain the lead.
.27 and then 79 have cleared the 2.
Forget about that back transfer spot. The 10 car moving up. Douglas trying to win this heat race. Moves to the inside of 22. We're going to go white flag next time. He's trying to make it happen. He may actually done it. The first win of the season to him is unofficial as a heat race, but a win, like we said, is a win. That'll be a huge help to that team for motivation later on. They have had such terrible luck all season long.
It's definitely a good momentum gainer right there. You know, Douglas is 16th in points. He's right on that cutoff line, like 7 points ahead of the next driver, and definitely will get him a good spot in the
Good
A-main.
motivation to push through. Other drivers transferring, that's Brad Smith in the 22, the 60 of DeLusso, and 79 of Ernesto. The 10 car finished 5th, which means we have a perfect cars that are going straight to the B main. That's going to be Todd Castile, the 99, Anessa Johnson, the 27, Thor Gunnarsson, the 1, Biggert Johnson, the 2, and Benjamin Thomas, who still managed to finish on the lead lap in 10th. So on the next race, we'll be going to heat race number 3. We'll be right back at you for that. And we are now joining back here for heat race number 3. Start by, of course, going through the field. In the front row, we have the number 51 of Brett Pritchard, a chase driver starting alongside Luis McClure and the 87 Royal Purple Dodge.
And behind them we have the number 93 of Kevin Campbell and the number 55 of Russ Blackwell.
And behind them is Titus Strobelaber, previous race winner in the 88, starting alongside Spencer Davis, second place in points in his Pure Tech 30 Ford.
So behind them is Trenton McPherson in the number 78 and Kyle Keith in the Energizer 42.
And then rounding out the field, we have David Walsh in the Mobile One Toyota, starting alongside Scott Porter in the Diet Coke 24. So another 10 cars getting set to take the field. We're waiting for the commands for this race to start. And we can get the third heat race underway. We have another 15 laps for these guys to have at it. 4 chase cars means only 1 normal car will get to advance to the A main from this race. 5 will drop to the B main. So this will be maybe showing the same amount of dramatic racing we saw from the last race.
I'm thinking it might be more like Heat 1 with kind of the chase drivers holding back a little bit since they're already in. But I'm kind of curious to see if Dodge will win a third straight.
They are now given the commands. It would be interesting, and they do have quite a few Dodges in this race as well. Just like Eldora, they are dominating these heats in quite the fashion. You see lots of drivers come from the back of the fields in these heat races to finish in the top half, so we'll see if something like that happens again. They bunch up now for the starts. Brett giving the first command, and they are going green at Knoxville Speedway. 4 wide into turn 1. Out of the whole shot there, that's Kevin Campbell in the 93 Ford. They still racing 3 wide. That's 78 of Trenton McPherson with Titus. Being pushed by David Walsh. Those 2 oil cars racing side by side now.
The 15 is going to get around the 78, it looks like.
Toyota,
couple of teammates kind of working together. There's the 42 and the 24 as the 24 goes underneath them.
Both those cars locked in as well. They have sure raced their butts off since Eldora. And we have a car going around. That is Titus. He saves it. Very nice job. I think that still went under yellow, though. Very good save there from that Dodge. As we are under yellow flag. I would be proud if I was him. That was, he got turned around there coming off of turn 4. It looks like that was a tap from our pole sitter. Brett Pritchard probably just got a little tight there, exiting the corner. He backs it up into the wall and was able to regain control of the car. A very nice job for Titus keeping that car off the wall, off the wall and getting destroyed.
Yeah, and he is one of the cars that is locked into the A main with his win earlier in the season. Even though he's not in the chase, he still does have a win, so he does advance.
And then another word that we've been just basically stressing all night, confidence. Small things like that will boost that entirely tonight, and you really want to stress that on your driver. Speaking of that, that falls back on our current race leader who got around the 93. That is David Walsh leading this race.
And he's had a rough season ever since he's gone full-time.
He really has. He was the part-time car with a lot of rest in between those big races for Meyer Toyota Racing. He'd always come out and really outperform every shot he got. But ever since we expanded the field size, he's just kind of had a lot of bad luck. Something's always happened, whether it was a wreck or a failure. But here's a good little rebound for him.
Looks like the first Dodge is going to be the 88.
Correction, that is going to be the 78 of Trenton, who is sitting one spot ahead of him.
That's right. I guess that'll count. Which the 78's teammate did win the last heat.
Sure did, despite also, I guess, punting the 99 car around. So she was able to not destroy that car as well. And the other car, Luis, is in the latter half of this field behind our second place in points. And Spencer Davis, I'm surprised he's not racing as hard as he is, but he did struggle at Eldora last time as well. So that may not be too a big surprise that he is not doing so well here tonight. Eldora was the first race he didn't get a top 10.
Yeah, he's one of the few drivers that really struggles on the dirt.
Pace car, lights off in that Dodge Challenger. We'll be coming around next time for our maybe final green flag run. We'll see who will get the edge. Last time, a car from third place shot down from the outside and made the pass for the win on the last couple laps. That was Aaron Douglas. Porter is in that position here. Second place won from Heat 1 towards the end of the race, so it's not looking good for Walsh, but we will see what will happen. Lots of good cars now bunching up for the restart of this race. And likewise, Campbell takes a good shot towards the inside to regain this lead. He was waiting for Walsh to do that restart. He shoots out to the front. Don't count out the 42 and the 88. Titus making it 3 wide on that corner, holding the inside, jumping to, and a big hit from Walsh. Major damage to that 88 now on the back, but he is still climbing. Straight up brake check the 15 car. Now damage to the front of that machine, but they are still racing hard. Western Auto Racing shooting up to the front together.
Now, the 93 probably likes what he sees behind him. He's got 2 cars that are locked in, just right behind him, separating them for this group.
Yes, this is exactly what he needs. But if he does get passed right here by the 42 and 88, will not matter. He is safe, safe, safe.
Now, we're talking about the 30 not being too good on dirt, and look who's climbing.
Always, man. He always, and fast, too. He is in a hurry to almost tapping and spinning the 88. Hang on there. And the teammates wreck each other coming to the white flag. Hard hits. Walsh up and over. Wow. Big wreck into turn 1. Will end this race under caution, which means the 42 wins this thing.
And the 93 would advance.
A big harsh crash just exiting that corner. The 78 of Trent McPherson gets into teammate Luis McClure, sends the 87 into the side, hard into the side of the 15, and they're still going about 100 miles an hour. When they remake contact, his car picks up off the ground and hits that outside wall. No safer barrier. He hit that wall at 91 miles an hour and flipped that car. So hopefully he is okay. That will end this heat race, though. The car advancing is the 93 of Kevin Campbell, as stated earlier. And then the other chase drivers get to advance. The other 5 will drop to the next race. Was that just pure frustration or what? But wow, I mean, 2 teammates wrecked each other, arguing right now on pit road. Walsh being taken to the infield care center after that very high speed crash for a dirt track. And coming from an owner standpoint, that's a car completely annihilated from the going to the A main.
Yeah, that car is just trash. No telling what's going to end up happening.
Hopefully they're able to get something put together. Maybe a Toyota that doesn't make it will allow him to slap something together for that car. Hopefully he is okay, though. But at the moment, we have one more heat race. And then they will have an intermission before the B main. Maybe they can make something happen. We'll give you guys an update on the driver as soon as we come back. We're taking a break for now. Thanks for tuning in on the 3rd heat race. Congratulations to Kevin Campbell. And we are back here for heat race number 4 at Knoxville Speedway. And starting off with these guys, front row, 2 Toyotas, Connor Meyer, the JBL 29, starting alongside Timmy Weathers and the Advocare Toyota.
Behind them is the number 19 of Jay Langelier and the 95 of Edward Manning.
And then we have Jared Lemon in the Napa Brakes 5, starting alongside Scott Vickers in the Pedigree Toyota.
And then we have Brandon Crasta in the number 63 Ford, and Elusive Man in the number 28 Dodge.
Rounding out the field is Quinn Izo and the Trade Bank 71 next to Kenny Bambura and his number 72 Ford Money Lion for Best in the World Racing. Now here is an interesting field, especially with the Dodge starting alongside behind the Toyotas from the interesting stuff that all went down with the previous race. They may want to stay away from each other.
That's right, there was 2 cautions last race, and they both involved a Toyota and a Dodge.
So Titus, being spun around, was able to hold on to it from Brett Pritchard. Satellite team unintentionally retaliated with the spin of their own teammate hitting the 15 and annihilating that race car. And then here they sit with Supreme and Meyer Toyota and Lubricar Motorsports on the front of the field. No chase drivers in this race. Top 5 cars transfer. Top 5 in the back go to the B main. Proper heat race for the final part of this one. This should be interesting.
This is probably going to be the best one yet.
So we are currently waiting for the green. Countdown will continue.
It looks like there's only a lone Chevy in this race.
Seeing no Chevy out of the Keith Motorsports operation. JR has had kind of a struggle. He was big talks in the garage during the part-time season. Same story with David Walsh. As soon as they went full-time, he just struggled.
Well, actually, Lemon was the full-time driver for that team, for Keith Motorsports.
Yes, my bad. I was way off that one. Once the full-time of those drivers happened, he couldn't keep up with the regulars. He was always stuck behind them one way or another and has then fallen back. Crashed, on the other hand, he is the black sheep in this race for sure.
He got his first top 5 a couple of weeks ago.
We'll see if he can possibly hold on to that. We get the go for the green. Connor Meyer leads him to the green. Langelier makes it 3 wide into the corner with those other Toyotas. Crasta following suit. Meyer sticks it to the outside. They are keeping it bunched up. Not only is a win on the line, but multiple transfer spots available. Contact with the 29 against the 5. They went from the wall to the door. Langelier holding on. He won the last chance qualifier
At Eldora.
at Eldora. Field starting to settle. Quinn has worked his way up in that 71 Toyota, as well as Bumbura. Elusive Man pushing the 72 into the corner. Dodges are driving aggressive today.
Yeah, they're just trying to take everybody out.
they have, but their equipment is struggling as hard as they did in Talladega. It's go big or go home. But returning the favor is Manning in the 95, bumper to bumper to the quarter panel. The 28 gets him loose out of the corner. A hard block from Elusive Man. This is going to be interesting throughout this race weekend of how these two teams will go against each other. And Meyer gets hit by the 5. That was retaliation from the start of this race. He hit the door of the side of that car, exiting 4.
And you know, we were talking about Dodge and how much trouble they've been in all week. I forgot in Heat 2 that the 27 actually spun out the 99.
Yes, that... They really have been just picking fights with everybody today. I mean, sure, Talladega was bad, but was it really that bad? They needed cooler jets. I mean, these are just the heat races. That transfer spot right now is currently the 5 car. Langelier still leading. Elusive Man now holding the transfer position. 71 and 72 moving in. 3 wide exiting this corner. 3 different manufacturers there. Meyer getting his car back under control, trying to work his way back up through this. Toyota kind of struggling in this race. There he goes. That car is following suit. Crasta almost trying to split it. Got loose, but saved it.
Yeah, the 35 and the 37 are not doing too well so far.
Meyer makes it to the transfer spot. A few laps ago, Crasta finding some speed, trying to get his way up to the back bumper of the 29. The 95 now, Manning has taken the lead from the 19.
That's his first race on dirt.
That's very impressive then to be out here racing this hard like this, especially with all the beating and banging that the Dodgers and Toyotas have been supplying against each other. Langelier now looking to the inside. This will be coming to the white flag. Question is, will he be able to get around him now? He shoots to the inside. Don't get too much contact there. They're door to door, 95 and 19. Langelier makes it to the inside. He will win the heat race. That is Jay Langelier.
He's really good at winning these heat races.
He sure is on dirt. What a good race despite the rivalry that's been sparked up this weekend between these teams. 95 will transfer on, as well as Jared Lemon in the 5. The 71 of Quinn Izo and Connor Meyer in the 29 will advance from this heat race. And that means when we return, it'll be the B main. 20 cars will be racing, only 7 will get to advance. When we come back, more racing. And we are getting ready here for the B main. 20 cars are now set for the B main. We'll start by going through the field. Xavier in the 86 starts on the front row next to Jonathan Rains in the 77 Ford.
Then we have the number 83 of Evan Coward. Starts next to the 00 of Andrew Weisbecker.
Tim Salmon starts next to Todd Castile's Lord Co 99.
Then we got a couple of Dodges. The number 27 of Anissa Johnson starts on the side of the number 1 of Thor Gunderson.
Behind them, again, the 2-car, the Red Bull, Big Rick Johnson starts next to Benjamin Thomas and his number 9 Pennzoil Dodge.
We have the number 30 of Spencer Davis and the number 78 of Trenton McPherson.
And then we have Russ Blackwell, and right behind the 78 in his backup car is David Walsh in the Toyota backup car for Meyer Toyota Racing.
Then we have the 87 of Luis McClure, starts on the side of the 63 of Brandon Crasta.
And behind them, that's the 35 Advocare Toyota starting next to Kenny Bambura and the number 72 Moneyline Ford.
And rounding out the field, we have the 28 of Elusive Man on the side of the 37 of Scott Vickers.
Man, oh man. We have the 15 behind Trenton.
And on the side of the 87.
So,
McClure.
We're both in the A main. We walked in, lousy our way out of our sweaty suits back in here. I'm upset because I've got torn up race cars and my teammates hitting each other. You're upset because my cars have destroyed one of your best race cars.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be sending you a bill for one specific car that ended up upside down in Heat 3.
You know, that's quite impressive on behalf of that wreck that he managed to get that car to flip like that. Though Luis had some help with pushing that car over on its lid. However, I will decline to pay for a new car if the 15 punts the 78 into turn 1 here.
I mean, anything could happen. I'm not saying there's any sort of team orders or anything, but, you know, racing's racing.
Racing is racing. We got 23 laps for 20 cars. This top 7 will advance to the A main. Then we have a shootout last chance qualifier. Heat number 1 winner takes us into the first corner. Evan Coward surprisingly leading in this race. They are stacked and bunched up for this race. They're trying to get to the 7th spot. 4 wide, multiple lanes back. Aggressive driving at its best right here. And we have a car going around. That's Andrew Weisbecker in the 00. Caution will come out for that car. It is torn up. He got spun around by somebody. Probably was a Dodge.
More than likely, they've been spinning everybody out today.
And you know what? It was a Dodge. Benjamin Thomas in the number 9 rival oil company Pennzoil spins out the Valvoline Chevrolet. These Dodges are absolutely aggressive today.
So we've got some oil wars going on.
The oily boys, as we stated last time, they are... You know, it wouldn't surprise me. They should get like an award going for these guys who run out here in the oil-sponsored cars. Whoever finishes the highest should get like a bonus amount of cash for representing one of the brands.
Well, Mobile One did have a fully sponsored car, but that got destroyed by some Dodges. So
whole body completely torn up on that one.
Wasn't some Royal Purple cars actually?
A couple of them, a gang of Royal Purple cars.
Took out the Mobile One.
It's not their fault that they have better lubrication properties and are able to grip when they are needed through tough situations there.
Well, it's their fault that they have worse drivers.
Hey!
Once again, this is not biased or anything.
It's not completely biased. We both don't own teams that have gotten cars torn up by this race.
By, you know, one specific team.
Evan Coward leading this race. The first time ever that 83 Ford has been out front, and he is leading the B main. This, of course, the winner of this race does get the bonus point for the counted pole of the race. So this race does account for exactly 1 bonus point. The 35 car has blown an engine. That is the Advocare Toyota of Supreme Motorsports. That is our
The bad
first
luck
failure
continues
tonight.
for that team, and that is the first failure, yeah. Now, 2 cars that have had issues in their respective heats were the 91 and 9 Lubricar cars.
Kind of chilling right now. Tim is in 3rd behind Anissa Johnson. And then the number 19, or the number 9, he's a little further towards the back. Jay has managed to move himself on, but the others are trying to move his way up. Caution flag gave an additional lap for the 35 to safely make his way onto pit road and not cause an accident on the restart. Lights on the pace car will now go out, so we can go green flag this time around.
And he was in the final transfer spot when that happened.
That's highly unfortunate, especially with the role Supreme was on earlier today. Hopefully that doesn't mean engine failures may follow suit in the future with these cars, but we will see. If they can throw another engine in there in time for the LCQ, he still has another shot. We're about to go green again though. Johnson loading up for the restart as well as Salmon. Let's see what happens this time. Lap 8 out of 23. 86 jumps the restart there. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets penalized for that, as he goes straight down and trying to make a pass for the lead already. Spencer Davis being there when it counts. David Walsh fighting on the outside of the reins, trying to get positions, racing in a backup car.
The 99 diving below everybody.
Yes, Todd Castile moving his way up fast. He just had one of his cars out. He needs to advance to keep his team moving up for points this race. He's also doing very well. He's currently in the chase by points, so he needs another good day. Green flag still going on this run. Lots of 3 wide action still happening. The 27 of Anissa Johnson leading this race over Scott Vickers. Those are the 2 teams. Some action 4 wide, leaving that corner. Todd backs out of that one so he doesn't cause a massive wreck. 87 taking the positions out of that event, with Elusive Man following suit.
Yeah, Todd's already been wrecked once today. I don't think he wants to get wrecked again.
No, he does not. Scott Vickers has taken the lead over Anissa Johnson, but she's still right there on his back bumper. Cleanly racing, might I add. Towards the mid-pack of the field, I can't attest for the same. Those 2 Dodgers crowding Evan Cowder's 83. That transfer spot is the 86. They are trying to race up to him. That is Tim Salmon that's behind the 86 for Lubricar Motorsports. Trying to join his teammate Jay Langelier in the race, but he's getting passed by Evan Coward. Anissa Johnson retakes the lead this lap around.
The more they race behind the 86, the better off the 86 is.
Can we mention the fact that the 15 is surrounded by Dodges and is moving them the hell out of his way?
The Dodgers can barely get out of their own way today.
Those boats trying to power themselves around. Vickers trying to go on to Anissa Johnson, very close, exiting that corner, some near contact. Transfer spot is the 72 car right now. Tim Salmon making the move on that car. Now has to fight to the 28. Vickers retakes the lead. A few laps left. And they're going at it up front. Lewis Mansell being the transfer spot. The 86 falling back a little bit. This is the opportunity for Tim Salmon to rise. He needs to move around, and he is. Reigns following suit in the 77th. Couple laps to go. Vickers trying to now check out from this one too. Reigns going to the inside. This is the fight for the transfer spot. Who will get to make it in? We're coming to the white flag right now for the B main. Vickers leading. Weisbecker about to go a lap down. The 78 out of nowhere. Trenton trying to make his way in. Weisbecker has blown up. We stay green. Coming to the checkered. It's close. Spencer Davis came out of nowhere, almost won that thing. And after a racing incident, the field bunches up towards the end, and there's a wreck on the back.
It was only a matter of time before everybody wrecked each other.
Yes,
how close they were racing.
They were racing hard. Final transfer, Scott Vickers winning this event. Spencer Davis in second advances. That means Vickers gets the pole position for this race. Anissa Johnson will start the race in third, followed by Russ Blackwell, Elusive Man in fifth. Reigns advanced the last couple laps, as well as Salmon at the last minute. Drivers falling to the last chance qualifier is the 78 of Trent McPherson, Krasta, the 72 of Bumbura, the 86, the 83, Todd's 99, the 87, 2, 9, 1, 15, 00 with the blown engine, and the 35 with the blown engine. They will be given a little break so that way they can get new engines swapped into there. 00 might have to pull up a backup car, but man, what some good racing we had there towards the end between the those three manufacturers.
Yeah, it was really close. The Ford and the 30 car came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he always does. So big congratulations to him. That's probably the closest finish we've had here. But you know what that means. Next race, last chance qualifier. We'll be right back for that. And we are here for the last chance qualifier. 8 laps, 13 cars will be racing for 2 spots to advance into the A main of tomorrow night's race. On the front row, we have the 78s of Trenton McPherson starting alongside the 63 of Brandon Krasta.
Kenny Bombera in this, and alongside of him is Luis McClure.
And the 86 of Arthur Xavier, Heat Race 1 winner, starting alongside Evan Coward in the body
And
armor.
the 15 of David Walsh alongside the 99 of Todd Castile.
Behind him, Thor Gunnarsson and the number 1 Monster Energy Dodge, running alongside Benjamin Thomas and number 9 Pennzoil Dodge.
And then we have the number 2 of Big Rick Johnson along the side of the 00 of Andrew Weisbecker.
And rounding out the field with a replaced engine is the 35 Advocare. That is Timmy Weathers. Both the 00 and 35 have new engines in them.
The 00 has a whole new car. They ended up having to go to a backup car after their wreck.
Spun out by the car who is in front of him, the number 9 of Benjamin Thomas. Dodge is just picking fights with everybody today. This may be a race they regret that at. This will be the final race before the main event. 13 cars, 2 of them get to advance. The remaining 11 in this will count towards the 11 spots in the back half of the field. 2 guys get an opportunity to win the race. 11 guys will go home with a very bad points day. Let's see what can happen in 8 laps. No cautions. No matter what happens, no cautions will happen.
And there's a lot of dodges in this one, so everybody better watch out.
Don't get hit. Stay out of the way or move on. Here we go. 13 cars, 8 laps, one big shootout for the A main. If you've got a grudge, here's a good chance to take it out as there is no cautions. Bumburra straight to the lead. Winless driver. Slight tap from the 15 to the 87. He's coming up on the 78. They are 3 wide.
One car is trying to get the lead from the 86 now.
'15 moved underneath by the 99. He holds onto it. The 35 pushing that Dodge with his new engine. Trying to win this for all the Toyotas out there. Thor trying to secure points. Halfway into this race already. 35 trying to go for the lead. Still, that number 1 is just powerful enough to hold him off the corner. Weisbecker out of nowhere has come back. Both of these cars with new engines.
Yeah, they've got no laps on these,
race.
so they fast.
I'm sure some people may find this a bit controversial, but both of those incidents were not of their fault.
The one car is fighting back again.
Thor trying. He definitely wants that spot. They're coming down to just 2 to go. Here comes Big Rick Johnson and then number 2, Red Bull Energy Dodge. Thor has made the transfer spot. Moving in on the 00. Here comes the 2. White flag is out. This is the last lap to make any moves. Thor goes straight to the inside. The 35 gets there before the 00 can close the door. He is trying to make that transfer spot, and he might just get it done. Good job to the Timmy Weathers and Thor for winning this race. Well, then. The 27 has got some damage. I'm kind of curious, or maybe about the 87.
The 87 retaliated.
That is retaliated. Wow. He respun his teammate out after the heat race wreck, because he knew he was out anyways.
So he retaliated on his own teammate from Heat 3 when the 78 spun the 87.
That is wow. I'm pulling those guys to the hauler. They need to talk.
There's a lot of infighting in the Western Auto Camp.
Yeah, but the winners from this, Thor Gunderson, congratulations. You will get the number 28th seed for the A main, and the 35, you will get the 29th seed. Congratulations, you guys. Pushed it through despite everything. And that means our next race is the Scots 50. We will have 53 laps here at Knoxville Speedway. 29 cars will compete to win the dirt race and get another chance into the chase. So that'll be a good one. We'll see you guys for the next race. See you soon. And we are returning for the Scott 50 at Knoxville Speedway. I am your host, Aaron Douglas, with Connor Meyer.
Hello.
And it is time for the finale. We have 29 cars set on the field, getting ready to take the green for the Scots 50. Quite an interesting amount of drama we had to start off this weekend.
Yeah, that's right. There's been a big rivalry between Dodge and Toyota the last couple of heat races.
So we shall see how that continues in 6 Dodges, 9 Toyotas, and I believe we have 5 Fords and then the 8 remaining Chevys. To go through the field, front row, Scott Vickers, our B main winner and pole sitter, starts alongside second place points. That is Spencer Davis.
Then behind them is the number 27 of Anissa Johnson, alongside the 55 of Russ Blackwell.
Elusive Man then starts next to the Dr. Pepper 77 of Jonathan Rains.
And then we have the number 91 of Tim Salmon on the side of another Dodge, the 21 of Aaron Douglas.
And sitting right behind them, that is Brad Smith and the number 22 Nikon Ford alongside Brian DeLusso to cap off the top 10.
And the 79 of Justin Osborne. And the 93 of Kevin Campbell.
Behind Mr. Osborne, that is Jay Langelier in the number 19 Quaker State Dodge, next to Edward Manning in the number 95. Those two did reach contact earlier in heats.
Then the number 5 of J.R. Lemon alongside the number 71 of Quinn Izzo.
And no more Toyotas following suit. That is Connor Meyer in the number 29. That will wrap off the heat drivers. Starting behind them is our chasers. Points leader, Joey Sanders, starting in 18th in the 36.
Then behind them is the number 8 of Big Man and the number 12 of Aaron Gabron.
And then we have the 92 of Caitlin Marie starting next to Joseph Onesto.
Then the number 10 of Austin Yoakum, last week's winner, and the number 42 of Kyle Keith.
Wrapping off the chase drivers, that is the 24. My bad, not wrapping off the chase drivers yet. That is Scott Porter starting alongside Manco Motorsports' Titus Strobelaber.
And the final chase driver is the number 51 of Brett Pritchard, alongside the winner of the last chance qualifier, Thor Gunderson.
And rounding off the field, number 35 car of Tim Weathers. Those last two cars made the transfer spot as they have been given the go for the green. We are getting close. This is really off. 53 laps. We will run around Knoxville. Get ready for some crazy action to start this off immediately. They bunch up. Green flag taken by the 37, 4 wide, immediately entering the corner. They've managed to keep it together, all 29 cars, but how long will they make that last?
The biggest winner out of that has been Anissa Johnson.
Currently leading the race as she is. And we have trouble in the front of the pack. And hit hard. Wow. Cars involved: Elusive Man, Brad Smith, Edward Manning, and Russ Blackwell. A hard hit to Manning as they take the yellow. We will back this up and see exactly what the hell happened. But look at the damage to these race cars.
That was all drivers that started in the top 10.
You see there, 3 wide right here. And it was Jay Langelier who spun the 22. He goes into the 28 and 55. Again, the aggressive driving of these Dodges. The 22 falling back into the racing surface. Grabs the front end. And wow, this car spin around. And some payback from earlier in the race. And a very good save. Big Man was spun by Caitlin Marie. No damage to man's car from the spin. And already an exchange of words. We were discussing about it.
Yeah, that didn't take long for Dodge to just get a little bit too aggressive.
Despite having a lackluster amount of cars, they have 3 in the top 5 right now.
And I think they have 3 in the back, probably with damage.
Titus is back there, Man's back there, clean after being spun, and then Elusive Man's car is destroyed after Langelier spun. Brad Smith.
Now, 2 of those Dodges that are up front are Looper car racing cars.
The only one of that Looper car team that did not make the race was Benjamin Thomas, the Pennzoil 9. He fell to the last chance qualifier race and was unable to make the transfer spot. Despite the dramatic race-ending spin, to which teammates retaliated after the caution was flown to end the race. Both of those 2 teammates did not make this race. Those were the 87 and 78 of Western Auto Racing. As this caution goes around, our pole sitter Scott Vickers is in the 3rd spot. Anissa Johnson continues to lead this race after charging from the beginning of the race. She started 3rd. Brad Smith of those cars is the only one returning a lap down. He's the first car a lap down. The 95 of Edward Manning has pulled off the racing surface, and the car will not return to the race. Getting ready to go back to green, waiting for the move from Miss Johnson to start the race. Green flag is in the air. Salmon charges to the outside. Smith holds up the bottom line. I don't think we're done wrecking, though.
No, especially with that 22 in the middle of everything, with how slow he is.
And we have a massive wreck. The 30 car flipping violently down the backstretch. I have never seen a car flip as hard as he just did in our series. I hope he is okay. I saw him charge to the bottom. I did not think that he was in trouble. I thought he was making a charge. He was spun by the 77. I really hope he's okay. Gabron spinning in the back. He hit the wall and flipped. He's going 95 miles an hour at the beginning of this flip and hit the wall violently. Scott Porter also involves chase driver.
That's the 2nd car to flip this weekend.
What happened was the 77 of Jonathan Rains, I keep wanting to say Tony Rains, gets into the 30. And Gabron had already lost control. He hit hard too. I hope he's okay. But wow, just very weird accident. He had to flip like 3 or 4 times. He's lucky that wall was there. He just would have kept picking up speed. He has been taken to the care center and possibly will be taken off track. Rains and Porter out of the race, as well as the 30, brings us down to 25 cars. But man, that was just violent.
Yeah, and you don't really expect to see wrecks like that on a dirt track.
And for him being in second in points, that's major concerning, especially if he's injured, as to if he'll be able to contend for remaining races. I mean, we'll have to just wait and hear from the medical center as to what they're going to do. That car was absolutely destroyed. And he hit the wall with the roof of the car. Brad Smith pulling to the inside will be doing an attempt to restart this again. Getting ready to retry the restart. Anissa Johnson, look out. Connor Meyer has rejoined us at the front of the pack. He started at the tail ends of the drivers from the heat races in 17th, and he is gone for the lead. We stay.
Someone who desperately needs a win to get into the chase at this point.
Yes, he is just about required for a win. So big hopes there going for this team. Contact Brad Smith trying to get back into the 19 who's wrecked him earlier this race. We are back again under yellow. Connor Meyer will take us to the yellow flag here on lap 15. Major damage to the 8 car of Big Man. Another chase driver has been involved in a crash. And it looks like the 51 of Brett Pritchard got into contact with satellite team of Austin Yoakum. Oh, this is going to be nasty. He hits right at that angle of the wall pit exit. And meanwhile, going into turn 1, Yoakum and Titus continue to collide.
Yoakum got his first win ever at Eldora, so we really thought that he was going to come here and do well, but he struggled.
It was much expected. He has managed to not have the car totally destroyed despite being in 2 wrecks now. Yoakum's car, I can't say the same, who also won the feature at Eldora. So tough break to both of those drivers. Yoakum might be pulling off the surface for good. Lots of these chase drivers with damaged race cars. Western Auto Racing right behind and in the middle of those 2 Toyotas.
And that's 2 teams that have had just nothing but issues with each other.
So that would be interesting to watch of them. The 22 already repaid to the 19 by pushing him out of the way in the corner. Didn't really help him by going into the rough stuff, but payback was re-delivered already. These guys, however, have had an outstanding beef and continue to argue after the race. So it has been boiling up to the actual race, and of course, that type of heat just fuels fire in the race. It gives lots of reasons to be up there, and now you have both teams up there. Meyer and Douglas both in need of a win. First and second, their teammates behind them, both known as their respectable teammates, and then the rest of them scattered throughout the field. 8 car has also now been declared under a DNF circumstance. Not sure why the 62 is lapped down. He'll be joining right behind Brad Smith. Yoakum is currently on pit road. He'll probably go a lap down here when we join back to the green flag. Team still trying to repair the damages done to that car after that hard crash from Big Man. Pace car heads down to pit road, the crowd on their feet. Field bunching up and aligning 4 wide, trying to make the jump. There goes Aaron Douglas straight to the lead underneath Connor Meyer. 3 wide behind him, Brad Smith tries to tangle with them, but falling back from damage that may cause a wreck going into this corner. We'll have to see if they can hang on. They are 4 wide leaving the corner. Russ Blackwell checks underneath the 51, able to hold on to it. Brad Smith with some contact from the 36. He saves it.
Yes.
These cars running really fast.
The 22 is just in the way at this point.
He really is. He's trying to get out of the way, but finding struggles. There was some damage there from the 62, hitting the wall. He's trying to putt it around. Douglas still leading with Connor Meyer right behind him and peeking to the inside for the race lead. Meyer trying to make the pass. The field trying to stay out of trouble. Big crash on the front stretch. Sanders is involved. Vickers involved. And the 79 involved. That looks like just coming out of that... coming straight out of the corner, somebody lost control of the car. It actually looks like this was another teammate issue. The 79 tried to move underneath the 62. Bumpers locked. He made contact with the 62 and spun himself around. The 35 hit. They collide into the wall. 36 has nowhere to go, gets hit by the 35, and they come to a stop. Thankfully, Langelier also involved. Hits the front end of the 79.
And all of that happened right in front of the 91 also.
Good move for him for to not be necessarily too involved. And coming to the caution, he took great advantage of that. Connor Meyer passed Aaron Douglas. Scott Vickers also passed Anissa Johnson. They are, all 4 are up there too. I had to dig a double take. I thought Yoka moved himself to the 6th spot.
No, he's a lap down.
Another driver to keep your eye on is a chase driver who started towards the back of this pack. Caitlin Marie is sitting in the 8th spot with satellite teammate Quinn Izo right behind her.
That 10 car is just all kinds of tore up.
It is destroyed. He was hit hard after being spun by Brett Pritchard. Some mutual frustrations, lots of inter-team twinings happening. It's all between these Toyota and Dodge teams.
Well, that time it was a Chevy. A couple of Chevy teammates.
That's the first incident really caused by Chevy all weekend. It's been Toyota and primarily Dodge, but Toyota and Dodge all weekend. The 35 car has pulled off the racetrack from that race. They are declaring that they are done from that. They're still trying to get the 10 car repaired as much as they can. Brad Smith still remains just 1 lap down. We are hearing from the infield care center they are transporting Spencer Davis to the hospital. Ambulance showing lights and sirens, which is a good thing. It is just going to be a possible concussion, but they want to make sure that everything is okay. He is able to walk under his own power. This is just going to ensure everything is okay vital-wise after that hard crash. But he will more than likely have a concussion and probably won't return for a couple of races. Hard hit for the 30, man. That's got to be the hardest crash we've had all season.
One of the hardest we've seen in years.
I mean, since that first initial Daytona race where we did tragically have a driver pass away from the accident. Getting ready for the green. The 10 car joins as fast as he can. They are all bunched up and contact with the 62 to the 29 to start on that heat race. Douglas follows immediately to try and gain that spot. They are 3 and 4 wide, multiple lanes back to start this off. And they are crashing again. Wow, they cannot keep this under control. Towards the back, they're not sure who exactly went around the 36, coming immediately down onto pit road. That car to arrest is Jay Langelier. Unfortunate, another good driver who had a fairly good start to this. Looks like the 10 car got spun around again. This time, something different happened. This was towards the middle part of the pack. The 60, another Team Motorsports incident caused the 10 car to get spun around. 10 car goes all the way up and collects Tim Salmon, and the 19 got both Lubricar Motorsports vehicles involved in that one. That's really unfortunate for that team and for the 10 car, who was already destroyed.
But that's
still out there on the racetrack.
That's how the luck of that team goes, though.
Really, unfortunately, is they never really get a chance to have a proper good race. '91 has left the racing surface because of that accident, as well as the 19, both drivers out of that race. That leaves us with just 20 cars left in this race of the 29 that started. More than half this race has been flown under caution as a surprise. We knew about the high speeds here, just didn't know how tense it would get with this one.
And it's even more surprising because we never saw, I think one heat had 2 cautions in it. But
and despite the last chance race, which we are now at the amount of volume of race cars from that, it wasn't as caution filled.
I just think we have so many fast cars now, all grouped up together with, wrecked cars in the middle of them.
It's causing problems. Maybe next year would be a good idea to change that rule where they start at the back rather than up here at the front with these guys, because it's really hindering the leaders from trying to get around. And then they scramble 4 wide and they're going 120 entering that corner. They're for Knoxville, these cars are booking it for a sprint car, that's nothing, but for a heavy, big stock car, it creates a hassle entering the corners.
You have to think, is FARCA going to try to slow down these cars next season? We've already had 2 really bad wrecks because of it.
They might just have to. And then as we're getting ready to re-enter the green, hopefully stay green this time without another harmful accident. Meyer, it's Toyota versus Dodge up front. Who will get the chance to fly around? Getting ready to enter the green flag. They are bunched up. Who will get the jump? Entering the corner, Douglas and Meyer go high. And they are wrecking again, but can they hold on to it? They try to, but it's the big one. Multiple cars involved. Caitlin, the 71, I can't see through the dust that's still trying to settle the 60 car. J.R. Lemon involved, 42 Kyle Keith involved, blown motor.
By the time we're done with this, we're going to have how many we had in the heats?
Pretty much at the rate that it's going at. Meyer's still leading after that one. The dust just absolutely not settling from this. I guess if this is what it takes, is just to wean these guys out there racing just too hard for this, man. A lot of these are the chase drivers right now. It's not needed to be racing as hard as they're trying to race. And these guys up front, they just want to race. They're just trying to get some laps in. That way they can try and have a nice little battle up front.
Well, when we go back to green, we'll have probably about 10, 11 laps to go. So maybe they can hold it together for at least that long.
If they could, that would be great.
Very surprised that 10 car is still running.
Almost involved in all these past races, hits hard in every corner, has to pit every chance he can. Somehow that car is still racing.
He might get a top 15 out of this.
If the way that they keep racing, yeah, he just needs to move around a couple more laps, and he definitely will. Here's where the issue's about to lie. We're going to have more cars a lap down now. It is still Western Auto Racing versus Meyer Toyota Racing up front. 2 of their Toyotas and 2 of their Dodges. The 93 of Kevin Campbell and Russ Blackwell have all moved up there. Titus with a wrecked race car is in 8th. That's just how many. Look at how many cars we have left on this racing surface after that last big wreck.
Let's just hope they can keep it together.
Hopefully we can get a last run in for the end of the race and get a good battle for this win. 2 teams that have been having the drama all weekend long are up front and trying to win this thing. It is Aaron Douglas versus Connor Meyer to the green flag. Douglas shoots to the inside this time and makes the move. Vickers moving Anissa out of the way with contact, pushing her into the marbles, into the rough dirt. They are 4 wide, but can they hold on? Titus is trying to make the move with his Dodge, and it is successful. And they pile it into the corner. They cannot just keep these cars together. I assume Titus brought that one on, because he tried to make it 4, almost 5 wide entering this corner. And it is retaliation time. The Toyotas strike against the Dodge. Leaving this corner right here. Swoops to the inside. The 10 car, Yoakum, wrecks the 88 of a points driver and sends him into the wall. And that ends the motor, and you know that ends the night for the 88. And the 10 car still
out there.
Man, these drivers taking full advantage of this race tonight. It's amazing that 10 car is still out there. Hearing the word of the Dodge is taking the lead, and he just sees that and knows that driver has wrecked him earlier in this entire weekend, and he went for it.
Yeah, that's going to set up a pretty interesting finish here, because we're not going to have any cars on the inside.
It's going to be a next flag ends the race type deal. We have 1 Dodge, 2 Toyotas, 1 Dodge, followed by an oddball, Kevin Campbell in 5th. More Toyota to follow. That's the 71 in Supreme Motorsports, Quinn Izo. A very good run for him tonight. Brett Pritchard follows. The next Dodge until then is the 28, a lap down in 13th. The Western Auto Dodges are the last Dodges on the lead lap currently. This shall be interesting. They could just keep it together and not wreck.
Oh, the 10 parked it.
There he goes. Finally left the race, satisfied after wrecking out a rival. He'll take 17th. FARCA officials finally told him to park it after that one.
That wasn't he didn't park it. He was told to.
Getting fed up with this big rivalry that has sparked within this race. Surely this will be something to watch for the rest of the season, is the way that these drivers will act against each other. FARCA telling the lappers to stay at the back, let the leaders battle it out. And we are getting ready. It is going to be Douglas versus Meyer for the final few laps. Meyer shoots. He's peeking towards that inside. That's where all the luck has happened before. But can Aaron close? He can't. Meyer is there at the inside. Johnson following right behind it. Here comes Quinn Izo. Anissa right to the back bumper of the 29 car. She's looking towards the inside. Anissa out of nowhere. She's following to the inside. She has to hit the brake hard. No room given by the 29 car, trying to hold on to it. Douglas following suit with his teammate. But here comes Connor. He goes down to the inside of the 27 car. We are coming to the white flag. Aaron Douglas retakes the lead. White flag is in the air. Connor Meyer shoots to the inside of the 27. He's going to try and carry this momentum going into the next corner. This is the only lap he has to make the move. Brett Pritchard out of nowhere. Can Connor catch Aaron? I don't think he's going to be able to. Brett Pritchard makes it 3 wide, trying to steal second from his teammate Contact. Aaron Douglas wins. Meyer second. Brett Pritchard third. Anissa Johnson fourth. The 71 is in fifth. And the 37 in sixth. It was all Toyota versus Dodge in the end.
See, that's the kind of racing we were looking for.
No, if that had happened all race long, would have been freaking excellent. But what a good finish from those two rivalry teams to duke that one out. I think we just saw 3 lead changes in 3 laps. And the drivers parking on the front stretch, that's Anissa and Aaron. The 29 car and the 71 sitting there, a little bit of contact before they drove away. Probably not to congratulate, as I would think. As upset as these drivers would probably be from that race. I mean, what can you say? Western Auto Team, you can see them very happy and the cheering on the front stretch. Finally getting a win and locking one of their drivers into the chase. But Connor, I mean, what can you say after this entire weekend and having a finish like that?
Wow, definitely have a lot of wrecked race cars now. That's for sure.
It was, despite having cars up front and getting top 10s and getting good amount of purse for both of these teams, they both have so much money to pay for. Both sides with wrecked race cars. You had the lead there at certain spots. You took the lead from the 27, but then lost it. What happened that caused your car to slip up, leaving 3 and 4?
I'm just pushing it too hard. That 27's been pretty much a nuisance all race, and proved it again at the end.
Moved him out of the way and allowed the 21 to follow. But how come you couldn't recatch him? You had the momentum leading. Was it because of Brett Pritchard just being a little faster? Did he move you out of the way? Was there contact there? Or were you going to try and see if he could do it?
I mean, you know, at the end of the race, pretty much anything goes, and he got to the inside. I mean, that kind of killed my momentum a little bit. I mean, you got to do what you got to do at the end.
Exactly, every fight for a position, but hey, I mean, I'm sure you will take second over 31st any day, am I right?
I mean, that's right, but first still sounds a lot better. Easy to say when you're the winner, though, right?
Hey, we've been needing it all season long, and we can finally enjoy this. And then heading into our next race is our second and final, or not our final, we still have Texas, but our next endurance race, sister track to Auto Club. We are heading to Michigan International Raceway. This will be a day race and 100 laps of super speedway action. We will see you guys next week, and then we will have a one race after this before we can start the chase at Homestead Miami Speedway. Thanks for a dramatic weekend, and we'll see how Toyota will respond to this at the next one. So thank you guys, and have a great one.